welcome everyone. My name is Melanie Delicato. I am the program manager for Staples Canada store events, and I want to welcome you to Spotlight today. So for those of you new to Spotlight, we are both a physical and a virtual destination, bringing together a group of like-minded people. Our purpose is to help you level up and grow. And we do that by working with experts right across the country. Today, we have the lovely pleasure of having both Gary Gradley and Rosa Lokis. Look at that. I've got it. Look, I sing. Who are going to take us on our journey as we explore what our purpose is. So I want to take a minute and, for those of you, and I'm nervous because today is an important day. Today we are celebrating Indigenous. And that also marks for us why we're exploring things like our purpose. So I did want to acknowledge and recognize that many Indigenous nations have long-standing relationships with the territories upon which we work and live, and acknowledge our presence on these traditional territories of many Indigenous nations. Because it's so vast right across the country, a single land acknowledgement does not cover the richness of the distribution across our many locations. So I just wanted to take a minute and acknowledge that. So who are Rosa and who is Gary? Well, Rosa has over 25 years and a wealth of experience teaching networking skills, connecting hundreds of people, and matching both professionals and entrepreneurs for business partnerships and collaboration. Rosa has transformed the way people view business relationships in business. As founder, business connector, matchmaker of Connecting You, 4 years ago, her passion grew for connecting people with synergies, and since then, she has matched dozens of business owners to collaborate and mastermind. That is a real treat, and I know Rosa has a real skill for that. And then who is Gary? Who is her counterpart that is here today? Well, Gary founded a very successful corporate training business and a personal coaching business, working with over 20,000 leaders, employees, and individuals throughout Canada, US, and Australia. He was a trusted advisor for many national corporations throughout Ontario. After surviving the last recession of 2008, lest we forget it, Gary founded Trusting Through Transition to help business owners survive and thrive through challenging times, just like he did. Well, thank you both for being here, and thank you for leading the way as we explore today. What is networking with purpose? What is our purpose? So for those of you, I am not leading today's session. My objective is to hide in the chat and be sure to bubble up all of your questions so that both of these remarkable individuals can get them answered in real time. So Rosa, I'm going to hand things over to you.
Thank you so much, Melanie, for that kind introduction. And, I'm so excited to be here. Staples Spotlight is one of my favorite places to be, right, Gary?
Absolutely.
So, and I'm thrilled to be doing this with Gary. And you'll see why we've joined together in partnership to do this work. Let me share my screen. Oops, that's not where it starts.
There we
So
go.
today so first of all, good afternoon, everyone. I'm so excited to see so many of you here, and it's great to spend an hour with you this afternoon. And the topic today is networking with purpose, attracting the right connections with purposeful networking. I don't think I need to explain that at all. Everybody understands why that's so important. But the reason that Gary and I got together was really because of the vision of Connecting You. Connecting You was formed about 4 years plus ago. And my vision is living in a community where entrepreneurs, business owners, and professionals are connecting heart to do business. I've watched business be so businessy for so long, it's hurt my heart. So coming from a very selfish point of view, I wanted to make that my mission. And this has to happen while fostering healthy family living and having strong social impact with abundant economic growth for all, because I know that's our divine right. It takes a village to bring up a child, right? Well, guess what? It takes community to build a business, doesn't it? If you agree, put agree in the chat. And what I would like to start off with is we want to make sure that you experience more clarity of your greatest passion today, and so that you walk away with more confidence and awareness of how to attract the right prospects and clients and partners in your life. I'll start off with something very simple. And I know that some of you may be familiar with the W5H of networking. So what is that? That's what is networking? Why do we network? Who are we looking for? Where do we network? When do we network? And the big how. That's what gives us the results, isn't it? But today, because of our time structure, I will be focusing on the why, the who, and the how. Because once you've figured that out, it easily leads you to the where and the when. And I know full well from looking at all of you that I do not need to help you understand what is networking, because you're here. You all are aware of what networking is, right? So let's go a little bit into the why. If I could get my clicker to go to the next screen. There we go. So actually, I would like Gary to talk a little bit more about the why before we go into the who. So I'm going to, perhaps I'll just tell you a little bit about the who and the what, and then let Gary get into the why, the benefits. So let's just touch on this. And if once Gary talks to you about the why, we can come back a bit. The who, once we've identified the why with the questions that Gary will be asking you, we will be looking at who is your ideal client. And you now have time to start thinking about that. Of course, some of you have got it sorted out already. So you can just sort of jot that down in your notebook. You've got your handbook as well. Write down who is your ideal client, who is your target market, and we will talk about visualizing the outcomes. So I'm going to bring this screen back as soon as Gary has you address the why. Okay, so I'm going to cut off here. And Gary, would you please tell us a little bit about how we identify the why, the benefits of the why, please?
Thanks, Rosa. It's always a joy working with you. And so in the chat, there's a handout that would be ideal if you could open it or download it, or Melanie, I don't know if you could open it on the screens. And there's just at the top of the page, just a couple key questions would like you to reflect upon for yourself. And that is like, why are you in business? You know, I'm assuming most of you are in business, or you have some other major focus in your life. And what's the purpose of that? And what's the root? What was the root motivation or the purpose when you first started that? And is the purpose, is it the same, or is it any different? So I just encourage you to take a look at that if you can, in those questions about so your business, the purpose for your business, what was it initially and what is it now? And just give us a bit of feedback in the chat. We're not going to have an open conversation about this at this point. However, thank you, Melanie. You can see the questions there at the top, your purpose and your business. So actually, if you print this out later or you make some notes on a piece of paper, please make some notes for yourself in terms of that, because this is important. This is the start of our conversation here. And we would love to have also a conversation with you going forward. And in the chat will also be in a few minutes an opportunity for a discovery call with Rosa or myself, just to have this conversation about your business, about your purpose, and how much alignment is there, and where the power is when we really align those two elements. And so I think I'm going to go on to ask you another question to think about, and Melanie, you can close this whenever you feel, to think about somebody that you know, someone that you know that is clear on their purpose, and so think about that for a moment. Just to pause and for a moment, who is someone that you know is absolutely clear on their purpose? I have somebody in mind. Hopefully you do as well. And then think about, so how would you describe them? What would be their dominant characteristics? Would they be fulfilled? Are they inspired? Are they probably loving life? Do they know what they want and what they don't want? And so go ahead and put in chat, what would be some of those characteristics that you think of for this purpose that the person who's clear about their purpose? So go ahead and share a few things in the chat. And if they're on purpose, then you see that, don't you? And what a great way to live. Who would like to live more on purpose? Go ahead and give us a yes in the chat as well, if you would. And so I want to talk about clarity of purpose, because clarity is really an inside job. Some of you probably would agree with this. And when we have a state of clarity, I believe it brings confidence and conviction and courage and commitment. And when you add all that up together, to me, that equals personal power. Would you concur? Personal power. And so therefore, we could say that clarity equals power. Power what? Power to attract everything that you desire, the people, the connections, the relationships, the resources, the results. So and we're going to talk more about clarity here going forward in just a moment, but it also helps when people who are clear, right? They know what their priorities are. They know what they say yes and no to, where they want to spend their time and the energy, what networking groups to attend, who to hang around with. And they know their ideal client as well. And that's really important. I know I went through that process as well as getting clarity. So we want to ask you right now to reflect upon your level of clarity right now, clarity of your purpose at this moment. And so Melanie's going to put up a poll here. Here we are. So on a scale of 1 to 10, for you, 1 is low, like maybe I don't know it at all, and 10 is high, like I'm totally clear about it. So please give us your feedback in the next 5 seconds. Where are you at? Scale 1 to 10. 10 is high. Thank you.
Wow, I'm loving seeing these results come in. We've got a few 8, 9s, and 10s coming right out of the gate, which is excellent. And those might be the same individuals who quickly hopped in the chat to share with us what does on purpose represent. And we had driven, fulfilled, they help others, helping people, giving back, confident, focus. So all some great words. So I'm going to close that off because we've got most of the group who've weighed in. And as you can see there, we've got a sprinkling right across the board, and that's okay. And that's why we've all come together today. Yeah. We've got some people who represent 10, some who represent 3, but the median is sitting at 8. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you. And there'll be something in this for each of you, no matter where you're at. Yep. Okay, Rosa, back to you.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Gary. I'm just going to go back to the screen for a little bit before we move on. So now that you've got your why, you really need to get clear with the who, because your why determines the who, doesn't it? Once you understand why you're doing this, then you start thinking, well, who do I want to meet? Who is my ideal client? Who do I enjoy working with? Who is waiting to hear my message? They're already out there waiting for you. All you have to do is call them in, attract them, pull them in. And we'll talk about that in a little minute. So who is the ideal client? And then who is the wider market? Who is your target market? So your market may be a biggest sector. Is it the financial sector? Is it the health and wellness, people who are concerned about health and wellness? Is it caregivers? Is it millennial entrepreneurs? So think about that when you're making your notes. And the way that that comes to life, you see, we're all about bringing things to life. It's not just about theory or getting information from Gary and I today. We really like to see you apply it immediately and put life into it and let it put life into you. So it's an ebb and flow interaction. So we talk a lot about visualizing, and in the workshop that we will share with you a little later, we do a lot of visualization. And so when you are figuring out your who, I want you to already visualize your target market all out there receiving your message, receiving your service, receiving your product, because they were there waiting for you anyway. So that's how I want you to make these notes on that today. And in the chat, you can put if you've sort of tweaked into something new that I just said, or something that you thought about one time but didn't apply it. So if you'd like to share that, that would be really helpful. And then the next slide.
Hey, Rosa, when
So
do you plan to do the breakout?
We're going to be, okay, so thank you. Let's do the breakout now before we go any further into the energy part. Thank you, Gary. Let's do a quick breakout, and that's going to be with 4 people, and you will have a minute each, right? And so when you're in that group, you would just introduce yourself as normal, okay? And then we will have a second breakout later when we've given you some insights, and then we will compare to see if there's any difference. Sounds good? Okay. So
Sounds great.
doing the
So we're
breakout
going to
rooms
keep,
here?
no, I've got it. So we're going to keep the rooms the same,
got it.
okay?
Okay.
Because we're going to challenge each of you to evaluate what are the differences between this current breakout room and when we put you back, okay? So I noticed that we've got a couple who are having audio issues. That's fine. If you want to stay in the main room with me, just exit out, and I'm happy to keep you here. Okay, so the person whose name comes first in the alphabet, you are responsible for hosting the room. Sorry, I have to give somebody the responsibility. You are the timekeeper, and you will set the order of who goes first and next. So the rooms are open, the timer's set. You'll see a 60-second countdown for the final person who's giving their introductions. Happy networking.
I got knocked out of the meeting, Melanie, somehow.
Oh, that's okay. I can add you to a room. Sorry about that. I'm going to add you to room 1 here.
Thank you.
And there you go.
Introduction. So when we talk about the who, there's another aspect to the who. Not only who are you attracting or who do you want, but it's about who are you being when you go into a room. So you're looking at that image alone, you understand that. Everything is energy. We are a spiritual being in a physical manifestation, right? Just that when we're looking through the naked eye, we don't see this. But you need to be aware of what your energy vibration is, because just knowing who your ideal client is not enough. The other part of that equation is how are you attracting those people into your space? So by how we prepare ourselves every single morning before we get out there will determine the quality of people that show up in our space. And what and who are you being? So who can relate to this next slide? If you can, it speaks for itself. Your vibe attracts your tribe, right? So you will notice that you're meeting a certain kind of people, no questions there. It tells a story. So if there is something that you don't like about the people that's coming your way, let's talk. You know, we're going to be putting up the Calendly link on the scheduler so that you can book a call with either of us. But that's a big concern for a lot of us because we're not aware of what's happening. So I'll go to, then we'll talk about The other aspect of this is your online etiquette. When we talk about how, this is the part about the how. And we're just going to be able to touch on this because really there's so much to talk about here. And so we're going to come back to this a little later, but I want you to keep that at the back of your mind about how you are networking is going to make all the difference in the world. Okay, so I'm going to pause it here, but that's something for you to think about. And I'm going to pass it back to Gary. Gary, where are you doing
Yes.
the rest of the benefits right now? Okay, thank you.
So no, I'm doing the passion test right now, Rosa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm a
And
little
so,
here. I got too much paper. Okay.
Melanie, could you put that handout back on the screen for us, please?
The passion one?
So Melanie, the handout, or I can just, yeah, the handout, please, would be the best.
Oh, the handout for the passion. That's for Melanie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, good. And so if you have the handout there, we're going to refer to the handout here right now. We're at the middle of the page. It says passion. There it is. Thank you. It says passion exercise. So even if you haven't printed this out, you can just write this down. Okay, so this is a powerful but simple tool, one of many that we use. And so just get a piece of paper. And as you can see here, yeah, thank you. So you're going to list down, 5 to 7, but I'm only going to give you 2 minutes. So just as top of mind, it's like from your heart of those things that would bring the most joy and fulfillment in my life and in my work by answering the question, when my life, my work, my business is ideal, I am being, I'm doing, thank you, I'm having, great, excellent. And all those key areas of your life that indicated there, like mental, emotional, etc., relationships, etc. Okay. So it's just top of mind, what would make your life, your work ideal in any of those areas. So go ahead, please, just first thing that comes to mind, 2 minutes, write it down anywhere on a piece of paper, and then we're going to come back to that and give you a powerful selection process. Please. So go, everyone start. First thing comes to mind.
And feel free to use the chat as well. So I'm just going to recognize Jody popped into the chat right away and answered the question. Strong relationships with family, kids, team, community. That's a very powerful statement. Thanks for sharing, Jody. And she's continued on. Abundance of clients being referred regularly. Yes, check that box.
Awesome.
Adele has weighed in flow and connected. Dave, kids with hope.
Make my life, my work, my business ideal when I'm being or doing or having. So 1 more minute, please. And then I'm going to ask for
emotionally strong, able to go with the tides of life.
Okay. 30 seconds. And have your list, because I'm not going to ask for a volunteer. I'm not going to share what's on your list, but I just want to explain really simply just the selection process, which is very, very powerful to begin to distill your greatest passion area, most importance of what you've just written down here. So this is just the tip of the iceberg as a sample for you in terms of how this can really bring more clarity around your greatest passion. Okay, so I'm going to call time there. And could I have a volunteer, just someone who's willing to walk? So I'm going to walk you through the selection process, and everyone can do it themselves on their own list as we go. So who do I have? Just a quick volunteer so I can explain the process, please. You don't have to share any details.
Jody's got her hand up. So does Adele.
Okay, so who is that, Jody or Adele?
Yeah, I'm going to go to Jody first, if that's okay, Adele, and then I'll come to you after.
Okay, great. So Jody, you can hear okay, yes?
Yep.
Okay, so everybody, this is the process. So Jody, on your list, you're going to compare the first one on your list to the second one on your list. If you could have only one, you can have more, but if you can only have one, which one would you want the most? Which one would win? So Jody, which one? Just tell us 1 or 2. Which one would win?
1.
Okay, so everybody take your winner of those two and now compare it to the next one on your list, which is going to be the third one. And again, same question is, which one's going to win if you can only have one?
2.
2. Okay, so you now have a new winner in your case. So everyone take that winner now to the fourth one on the list. Which one's going to win?
I didn't get to 4 if you were if you wanted me
Okay.
to.
So that's fine. So I think you get the idea of the process.
Yeah.
So all the ones on the list, you just take the winner down each time to the next one on the list. When you get to the bottom of the list with your winner, then you put that in where it says my top prioritized, the best are. Okay. And then you're going to go back to the list, but you're going to remove the winner so you don't compare it again. You've already got it. And then go through the same process, taking the first and second one, which one wins, and so on and so forth. And so this is called the binary decision-making process. You will distill from that list, from any list, how to get the one of the greatest priority importance to you. Okay, so that's just a really simple exercise, and you can keep working on it. And this is just one of many tools that we use through the workshop process, which we'll be sharing a bit more in detail. So, oh, we have a poll here, Melanie, right? And the poll.
So question for you first, Gary.
Yes.
Is there any data or science behind the order in which we capture these points on the sheet? Do we normally weigh back into number 1 being our top priority, so that as we're going through that binary decision making, like it tells its own story?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't have any, scientific sort of facts on it, but maybe most of us think that the first thing you put down is maybe the thing that's top of mind and maybe is the highest importance to you at the current time. So, but that'd be interesting to do some research on that. Good question. So I think, can we go to the poll now? Because we want to ask you, in essence, that of this greatest passion, which you just identified from just simple list, okay? So to what degree is that currently in your business? Whatever that area might be. So if it's low, like it's not in your business at all, then that would be a 1. If it's like 100% in your business currently, then that would be a 10. So where are you at with that in terms of what you've just identified, or your greatest passion? Is your greatest passion in your business currently?
It's amazing. We're seeing a sprinkling right across the board again. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes to get the remaining votes in before I share. But with the exception of 2 numbers, pretty well everyone on the scale has gotten a vote.
Okay, so quite the range here.
Yes.
And so, and we're gonna address a lot of this as we go forward here. And if it's not in our current business, then the question you might want to ask yourself is, how can I modify my business to be more in alignment with my greatest passion, which we'll hear more is connected very much to probably your purpose. So that's great. So thank you for participating in this. And I think we're now going on to Rosa.
That's awesome. Awesome, Gary. Let me just close the chat here. I keep forgetting to share the screen. Can you see my screen now? No?
Try again.
Try again. Hold on. I can see my screen now?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So we just want to wrap this piece up, and then we're going to go back into a breakout room. So we were talking about 3 things: the who, the why. You figured out the why, you figured out the who, and now we're looking at the how. In today's market, the pandemic has caused us to be doing all our networking online. New, different, sometimes interesting, sometimes not so much, but it's here to stay. So what are we looking at now? It's not so much about the interactive in-person meetings that we used to have. And some of you will see faces on this image that have attended my workshops, familiar faces. It's on Zoom. Everything's happening. So what are you looking at? You need to look at very basic things. And I'll go much deeper into that in a follow-up workshop that we'll be putting on. What's your image? What is the background like? How do others see you? What's your energy? What are you coming to the table with? Are you tired? Are you energized? Are you present, or are you checking in here to see who else is connecting with you on your phone? Are you being professional? Did you remember to put on your dress clothes, or are you just in a sweat top? Are you responsive and engaging like the audience is here today? It's amazing. So we could see that you're the right audience for us, because it's so beautiful that you are already practicing a lot of these. And so that when you are doing that, the last thing is, what questions are you asking when you meet people online? So if you are going to, I'm going to just move over here. Just have a look at that. What does that say to you? Right? I don't think I need to even say anything else about that, because that speaks to everything that you need to understand about networking. So if you are actually out there meeting people, you figured out your why, you know who you're looking for, you know when and where to go. It's really, the rest of it is about the how. And if you are purposeful with your message, then the how is the only piece you need to work on. So what we want you to do today is, when you go back into the breakout room, just think about another way of engaging with people. Perhaps you want to pose a question to your group and say, you know what, I'd really like you to share about your passion. Can you tell me what this brought up for you? What's your greatest passion right now in your life? I don't want to, if it's not lifetime. So if you can talk about something like that, or what really gets you up in the morning. So ask a question like that, and you still only have a minute to share, but let's see if there's a different sense of energy or interaction in the room. And then we want you to come back and share with us, okay?
When you're sharing your passion, your greatest passion.
Yes.
Just one quick thing. Can we get an extra minute? Because we had 4 people in the room and one person didn't have a chance to go. We got kicked out.
So we do 5 minutes instead of 4?
Thank you.
I can do that. Done.
So that's all you get. You have 5 minutes.
So be focused. Someone be a timekeeper. Talk about your greatest passion, and then observe how people are communicating.
Here we go. The rooms are going to be identical to what they were before, because we're hoping that your interactions are going to be significantly different. Here we go. Happy networking. Okay. So some people got stuck in the main room, so bear with me. I'm pushing you all out. Welcome back. The rooms just started to close, so everyone still has 60 seconds if they wanted to maximize their time in the room. Rosa, did you have any slides you wanted to put up to close off the breakout room portion?
What I would, no, not really.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it'll be me next after the breakout.
I just want to get some feedback from them real quick and then bring Gary back on.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And you officially have everyone back in the room. Okay, so back to you, Rosa.
Thank you. So, folks, let's hear a little bit of feedback from, am I showing you my screen? I hope not.
Nope.
You're not seeing my screen, right? Okay. Let's just hear quick feedback from two people, real quick. You will literally have about 30 seconds each to share. Can you tell us if it was any different? So we'll just let everybody hear your share.
Adele, can I come to you because we didn't get you to share last time? Yeah, there we go. Oh,
Awesome.
go ahead and unmute.
Okay, I think I'm there now. My internet's spotty, so if you lose me. Okay, so I'm sharing my passion, or I'm sharing how it felt to share passion.
How the whole group interaction was. Like, was that more alive networking because of what you shared? What was the experience?
Yeah, absolutely. It's much less practical and much more emotional, I'll call it. So it's yeah, it's lovely to hear people share about what really lights them up rather than what do they do.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you can tell us your passion real quick before we go to the next person.
Oh, I'm passionate about this human brain of ours. I just find it absolutely remarkable. And the more we dive into the world of neuroscience and start exploring it, the more excited I get. It's like, woohoo! So my passion is whole brain thinking and connecting us to our right hemisphere.
Awesome. Woohoo! Thank you.
Amazing. And I've brought Carissa on screen as she shared in the chat. So I thought maybe we could get her to vocalize.
Wonderful. Let's hear from you.
Thank you, Melanie. No, I just totally agree. I was in Adele's group, so we had a great discussion and a great, you know, sharing of the same minds. We all have a passion to help others, to add value to others, and it was just so neat to be in that group together. So
Wonderful. What's your passion?
my passion is just to help others in any way I can. You know, I'm going through, Gary, I know Gary, we're going through some things together, and you know, so helping others to become a holistic and to bring hope and healing and passion in others. That's my passion.
Beautiful. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Teresa. That was beautiful, you two. You see, the whole point here is to show you that when you are networking, it's not a script, okay? It is about getting in touch with your heart, your center, your spirit, your source. And when you do that, things open up like magic. You want to create magic, that's where we start. Okay, it does not come from any great coach out there in the world. You are going to find your own great coachness inside of you. And so we have a lot more to talk about when Gary tells you about the upcoming workshops that we have to share with you. And I think that's where I'll pass it on back to Gary. So I just want to let you guys know we will have a post discussion after for about 15 minutes. So we may not have time to address your questions in person here because we're running short on time as usual. You know, we never cover everything that we want to. But Gary, please take it away. Thank you.
Absolutely. And so, yeah, you can see how passion in your life is your fuel for your life, can't you? And that's our fuel to help people get their greatest passion. And so this is, please put some feedback in the chat here on this this formula here, that our greatest passion drives your current purpose. So go ahead, let us know in chat, do you agree, I'm not sure, or otherwise. And so that plus a good plan, plus inspired action, where the result is, the outcome is more fulfillment for you, higher performance for you, and greater contribution by you to the world. And so we want to share with you, just very briefly, this proven 7-step process. And I'm going to unpack this in more detail here after this slide, but that gives you the written part. But you can see it's an intellectual process, it's a logical process, but yet, as you'll see, it's a soulful and reflective process as we go into this. And so as you want to discover further your greatest passion and your purpose and how to start acting more and more upon that, you'll be going through this kind of a process here. And so number one is to clarify your passions. And so, you know, you can go back in your life and do a bit of a life inventory. of your passions and the greatest common thread where you were alive and loved what you did and you were passionate. Like the passion test is just a small sample of that. There's a whole lot more to get more clarity on your greatest passion. And then when you take a look at your strengths, and so I love this, it's called the strengths theory, that says that you can do one thing better than any other 10,000 people in the world is you. So discovering what your strengths are more so is very, very powerful. And then what are your values? What do you care about the most? You know, what's an important cause to you in your life? You know, maybe you had suffering and you want to turn that into a success and help someone else. And the intersection of all these areas, then, we call it the sweet spot, is where the power is in terms of the most overlap to give you the greatest indication of a possible purpose. And then we go on to crystallize your purpose, your calling. The belief is that there is a seed of greatness inside of you, that each of you has a purpose. You may not know what it is exactly. You're wondering why I'm here, what am I to do? But it's true. So just pause for a moment, just pause for you for a moment and just think. So before you take your last breath, close your eyes if you'd like. Before you take your last breath, what is something of importance to you that you want to accomplish in and through your life? What is that? Go ahead and jot it down. So that's what we want to get in touch with more and more, is that for you, and to discover what that is and to follow your heart. And some of you might already know what it is, but you're not doing it. Maybe you're procrastinating. And so we actually then, each of these steps, you'll be experiencing some powerful visualization and meditation where we can actually tap into the treasury of our subconscious mind, into our heart, our soul, our intuition. And that's where actually our purpose is revealed, just like buried treasure. And so we have a lot of people who are, and you'll go through this as well, that they get great vision when we do this, you know, divine downloads, revelation, and so on. So it's a powerful part of the process to give us more clarity as we continue to go through this and then explore possibilities. So you might know what your passion is, but you don't know how to do it. So that'll answer that question for you, to brainstorm all those possibilities, and maybe reinvent your business, like you'll hear about later. Maybe Janet is on the call here. Goal strategy is pretty straightforward. Daily behaviors, we want to help you to create those, to put in place the goals. And then the key one is certainly the motivation to overcome some of the barriers. We all experience blocks like resistance or procrastination or fear or doubt and so on. So this is a way to raise our intrinsic power and motivation to go through that, and some practical ways to actually get through those blocks. So bottom line is support for these new behaviors so you can be stepping out into action on your purpose. I know I went through that quickly. Happy to have, and please book a time with us. We'd love to talk with you in much more detail to see how we can help you get more fulfillment and performance and contribution. And just like so, you will, in fact, receive these key outcomes we talked about, right? So you'll have this clarity and be more fulfilled, higher performing. As we invite you to join Rosa and I in how we walk through this proven 7-step process in our Living on Purpose workshop, Living on Purpose workshop, and the key outcomes that you'll get from this that we've just touched on. I know we're getting short on time here, but please, in the chat will be our calendar links. So please do chat with us. We want to see how we can be of the most help and value to you. Maybe overcome some of those blocks, help you get more clarity, and just see how we can connect with you as we invite you to consider this upcoming workshop.
May I just sort of drop in the one testimonial just before you do this, please? I just want to share with you, in one of the visualizations that we do in that workshop, Adele said, "The On Purpose workshop is a joy. As a result of this workshop, I have made some exciting tweaks to the way I deliver my teachings. In one activity, the visualization exercise, I received a clear download to incorporate into my classes and my meditative spiritual side. I started immediately to do so with great results. Thanks, Gary and Rosa, for your warm and caring approach." Thank you, Adele.
Thank you. And thank you. And is Janet there? Janet, are you there? Can you just share for a minute, just what was your powerful experience? I'm going to stop sharing here my screen, and then I'll bring this back, and then we're going to bring this baby in for a landing very soon, Rosa. So you have to see what you want to still cover.
Yeah, I can quickly share a little bit about my journey, and that when I was coming back from my mommy break into the workforce, I kind of knew what skills I wanted to use, but I wasn't quite sure how to apply them. And I was feeling like I was riding a wobbly bicycle half the time. So it was great to be able to do this workshop to help me at that crossroads to really find my purpose and my thing that makes me excited to get to work in the morning. So it allowed me to be more authentic in my work, to have more energy, and also to be more effective. And it brought out a niche that I could really call my own. And finding that niche was quite an aha moment. I had to do some of their exercises and some of their homework, but it was all good. I did some prayer time as well. And then I really had that breakthrough where I go, this is the niche for me. And it saved me probably like a year or two of bumbling around on my wobbly work bicycle to get where I want to go. So thank you very much, Gary.
That's powerful, Janet.
Send her some love, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing. And she's reinvented her business, like brand new, attracting larger clients, because she went through what we're encouraging you to join us in. As I share this, just this last slide from me here, you can see that, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so just, and this will all be on the website. When you click on the registration link, you can look at it in more detail. There'll be a follow-up email as well. But bottom line is, for the first 10 people who register, they'll get a bonus of a great book and the coaching with Rosa. Rosa is a great coach. There's great value in that in itself. $519 value for only $297. And then after the 10 people, then it's up till June 7th. You'll see just, you don't get the bonuses, but then there's a payment plan, which you can see there to make it easy for folks. And we do suggest and encourage you to bring a partner, a success partner. You can go through the program together with, and that's powerful, and $100 off for that person. And if you shared that discount, it's only $247 each. And then on the right, you can just read that, after come June 8th, the prices go back up, and those prices apply. It's all on the website. When you click on the link, check it out. And Rosa, back to you.
And what I'm offering in addition to that is a further workshop that goes much more detail. It's called Networking for Powerful Connections. It's not the regular networking that we do. I'm tired of doing the regular networking. I've done it for years. And now I really only want powerful connections. And that's why we do partnerships. And that's just going to be a real special deal for you. It's going to be an hour and a half long. And it's usually a $297 workshop. And you're getting it for $97. And so that's going to happen on June the 16th, a Wednesday, from 1 to 2:30 p.m. I'd love for you to take advantage of this. I know that, you're right in the zone for this next level networking. This is called Beyond Networking, connections only. And it's guaranteed that you will meet people of like hearts and like minds, because that's how you identify your tribe, is when you could actually have soul connections, which goes way beyond just business. And if you take it together with Gary's workshop, well, I call it Gary's workshop, but both of us will be doing it. But Gary's primary workshop, you will get it for $47 as opposed to $97. So there you go. What a deal. And that's all I have to say about that. Please book a discovery call if you have any questions. We do have our links in the chat. And I also have the Eventbrite invitation for the workshop already done. And so you could go right in there and book, or just talk to Gary or myself and we'll book you in.
And all the pricing will be described there in more detail as well. I know we went through it fairly quickly.
Yeah.
I'd love to chat with you to just see how we can help in any of those areas. And just so you know, that the workshop doesn't start until 2 weeks. And so there's lots of time for that. And then we'll explain more of what is involved and what you get, which is great value. So, yeah.
So wonderful. So I'd really like to invite as many of you to stick around for about 15 minutes after we wrap up here. We really love seeing all of you and would love to chat with you for a little bit. And if not, get on that call. Thank you so much for coming, and I'd pass it over to Melanie.
Well, I just want to echo the outpouring of love that is currently happening in the chat with big thanks from everyone, just for taking us through this experience and sharing your insights. Today we know we're in that virtual space all day, all the time. And, sometimes we can lose sight of what is most important, and taking that opportunity to recenter and think about, are we on purpose? Are we moving in the right direction? Have we crossed our T's and dotted our I's? We need that regular reminder. So thank you for doing that today.
Thank you so
Thank you, Melanie.